everyone, and welcome to the Red Brick House. I'm so happy to have you here with me today, and I have a super easy, simple fall project for you today. But you could adapt this project for any season or any type of blanket or throw that you want to, as long as you can find a pre-made patchwork fabric. So let me show you. I thought this was so cute. It just screams fall to me. It reminds me of a scarecrow. So let me open it up here and I'll show it to you. So here we are. Look at that. I think this is adorable. And what I want to do with this is I am going to just use this as a quilt top because it's already pieced together. And I'm going to just make a, what's that called? A quilt sandwich. And I'm going to put some batting in between. And I'm just going to stitch along these lines. I'm going to follow these lines and stitch with them. And I'll already have a quilt. So this is like a quilt top, pre-made, already ready to go, and I think it's adorable. So let me show you the back that I got. I got this fabric. Now, both of these fabrics came from Hobby Lobby. This is a print of wheat. It's just a very soft, creamy color with some little wheat stems, you know, thrown around all over. I think it's really cute. Now I will show you an up close of these fabrics once I start working on them. But I thought that this would be such a simple project to do. And also, both of these fabrics were 40% off. Now I did not get these in my little craft haul. If you watch that video, I'll link it at the end of this one. But I didn't buy those at that time. I found these later. Our store did not have this patchwork fabric. I found this while I was visiting my brother in Dallas. I stopped by a Hobby Lobby store because we were just there. and they had this there, and so I had to get it. And I bought 2 yards of it. I think that'll make a nice little throw. And I bought a matching 2 yards of this. And so that's what I plan to do. I'm just going to put them together into a simple little quilt. And I hope that it turns out great. So let's get started making a quilt. Okay, my friends, I have my quilt all put together into a quilt sandwich. So I have, this is the top layer of fabric that I was showing you in the intro, and then I have 1 layer of batting in here, just 100% cotton batting. I don't want this to be terribly thick, but I do want a little bit of warmth to this. And then I have my backing right here, as you can also see up here. And I've pinned everything together, and now I'm ready to get stitching. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go across this way in rows, because there is a stitch line that's consistent all the way through this stitching right here. And so I'm just going to go in rows and do all the stitch work going that direction. And then I'm going to turn it the opposite way. I haven't completely decided yet, but I think what I'm going to do is after I do all of those rows, I think I'm going to stitch across here, which will give me a line in these fabrics here that don't have, you know, a line in them, a stitch line or anything in them. I think it will still look okay if I do that. But I think, because I need some stitch lines going the opposite direction, I feel like. So that's how I'm going to quilt this little project. So let's get started stitching. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm using to quilt this quilt. I am going to quilt it at my table. I found that I enjoy quilting on a surface rather than with it in my lap. I have some old beeswax here, left over from a beeswax candle. I'm going to be waxing my thread. And I recently purchased this thread from a little quilting shop that we have in town. And I'm just going to open it up and I'm going to show it to you. I thought these colors were very suiting for this fabric. If I can get the package open. I don't want to cut the thread. And I don't have my good glasses with me, which they're in the living room, and I should have brought them in here, but you know how that goes. Your glasses that you need to see to do tedious things are never with you when you need them, because they're somewhere else. At least that's the case for me. And I have prescription glasses. I don't have just readers that you can buy, you know, at the store. So I don't have multiple pairs of them. I only have one because they're quite expensive. So here we go. Okay, I got all the wrapping off of it. So let's take a closer look. Ooh, that is beautiful. I think these colors are just really pretty. This is I think it was a 50 weight. It said medium, like medium weight. It's beautiful. Look at that. I love it. It was quite pricey. It cost me $9.50 US dollars. Thought that was a little pricey, but there's quite a lot. You get quite a lot. This will last me quite a long time. It feels very nice. But I am going to wax it just in case. I have found when I'm quilting that helps me for it to not get tangled up as quickly. And this is a pretty short distance I'm going, so I am not going to pull out a ton. And I think as thick as this is, I don't think I'm going to need to double it. I think I'm just going to use it single-stranded, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now I have my needle all threaded and waxed. Well, my needle's not waxed, my thread's waxed. And I'm going to go ahead and start this process here. So I'm just going to go, where am I going to start here? I want to start on this line and go across. So I'm just going to kind of start at the edge. I'm going to use the stitching line that's already here, and I'm just going to follow that. I might have too much thread here. Bear with me. Probably too much. But I've already got it threaded, so I'm just going to go with it. And of course my stitches are going to be larger than the stitches that are machine stitched in here. But I'm going to try to do pretty small stitches. I'm so excited to do this little quilt. I know that some people might look at this project in this video and might say that, oh, she's cheating because she didn't make the quilt top. Like, it's already done for you. And that's not true quilting. Yeah, I have way too much thread. Okay. I might rethink this. But back to that point of view. It's a valid opinion and a valid point of view, as I think all opinions are. But you know, here's the thing. I'm not very good at making quilt tops like this. I wish I was better at it. I am very type A personality. You wouldn't think so by the way that I kind of eyeball a lot of things, and I don't always do things, I don't know, maybe the proper way. But like this thread, for instance. Okay, I think I'm gonna start over here. But every time I've tried to make like an American patchwork with triangles, you know, very precise cutting and measurements and things like that. And I try to do that. And I try to be so precise, and the corners don't line up, or they don't come together correctly when you sew it. And, you know, to spend a lot of time on a project like this, a quilting project, and then to not have the end result the way you like it, it's very disheartening, you know, and it's very frustrating for someone like me. And so that's why I love the Kawandi inspired, you know, throws that we make and the Kantha style. It's just, it's quilt as you go. Those things speak to me because you don't have to have super fussy, precise measurements and things and sew it together just so that all those corners line up correctly and everything. When I'm quilting something, I pretty much only do squares because that's what I can do and have a pretty good result with. And I don't have somebody, you know, guiding me on these things and showing me like, oh, well, the reason why that happened is because of this or that. I don't really have somebody in my life to help me along with projects like that, or I probably would do more of them. So I think things like this, where this fabric is already made, you know, I'm still quilting it by hand, and that's what I love to do. I like quilting. I like stitching. I find that process very rewarding and very enjoyable, and that's the part that I like about it. I like the creativity of creating a quilt top, and in the past, I haven't found something pre-made like this that I really liked. Most of them just weren't my kind of fabrics or, you know, things like that, but I loved this one. You know, my dad, he's passed away about 20 years now, and this is what he wore. He wore plaid shirts like this, and he wore denim jeans when he wasn't like working in an office or something. And it just reminded me of him, and it's just perfect fall colors, which I just love. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with buying something like this that's already done for you. Now, it doesn't mean every quilt I make is going to be that way, but this spoke to me so much that I just absolutely loved it. And so I think all these kind of quilting crafts, all these things have their place, you know. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't think that quilting has changed so much over the last 20 years. You know, I'm old enough to remember my mom quilting, and my mom did not go out and buy fabrics to make a quilt like people do today. And, you know, my mom she sewed things, and she used fabrics that were left over from either sewing projects or from old tablecloths that might have gotten a stain on them or something like that. And that's what she used to make her quilts. And nowadays, a lot of people like to go and buy these, you know, fabrics that are pre-curated and designed to work together and to match. And there's nothing wrong with that either, you know. I think all these things have their place. And I really, honestly, maybe I'm just very eclectic, but I really like all of those ways of making things, you know. I like the traditional make quilts from your scraps kind of thing. I think the reason why it's changed so much is that people nowadays don't make their clothes as much as they did maybe in the 70s, 80s. I don't know. My mom made a lot of things. She sewed a lot of her own clothes. And I feel like it's kind of starting to come back in style. So who knows? Maybe we'll come full circle and more people will start making quilts from their scraps again. Who knows? But I know I got totally off topic here. But I just thought it might be an interesting conversation. So let me know your thoughts. I think everybody's opinion is valuable, and I respect everyone's thoughts on this kind of topic. But I also like to hear what other people think. So let me know. Would you be interested in making something like this or quilting something like this if you really loved the fabric? Yeah, let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. So anyway, I'm going to keep sewing, and you probably don't want to listen to me talk just about random things the whole time. I don't know. Some people do. But I don't know if I have anything to say that's that incredibly interesting right now. So I'm just going to keep working on this, and I'll come back when I have more progress made and I'll show you how it's going and what it looks like. I am loving this thread. Let me tell you, I'm going to pull it up close so you can see it. Hold on. Let me give you a close-up view. Oh, if I can. I don't know if I can. Here, let me zoom. How much can I zoom you in? That's about it. I hope you can see that. Let's look at the other side. I can kind of see it, but it's not too terribly bad. Oh no, that stitch is way off. Look at that. Uh-oh. What happened there? I was talking probably. But that's going to be really pretty on the back. As long as I'm going to try my best to keep my stitches straight. I even have a line to guide me. How did that stitch get so far crooked? I don't know. I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to move forward because that's just what I do. It is handmade, and I think that's the nature of handmade things. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to keep stitching, and I will let you know when I get further along in this project. Okay, it has been a while since I've been working on this quilt now, because I've been working on my other projects, but I finished going, I guess it would be horizontal across the quilt, so it would be going crosswise. I think that's right. And I finished all those lines of stitching. So I stitched like here, 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 all the way down. Now I've turned it the opposite direction and I want to go the other way. And so I'm trying to decide exactly how I'm going to do that. And I think what I'm going to do, I don't think I'm going to start here, because this, I'm going to do my edge like this and fold it over. Well, actually, I might start there. Yep. But that means I would have to start over here. I might not do that. I may just start up here and start on this one. That will give me a better start. But I'm just going to kind of make a line of stitching across these larger swaths of fabric. It's just kind of a rectangle here, and I'm just going to go across there. Actually, I don't know if I can, because this one's different. This one doesn't line up with this corner. Okay, this is going to be interesting. It might just be the way the fabric is. Let me get my ruler. And let me look. Okay, so I'm going to line it up with this line right here on my edge, right above the frayed edge there. And this fabric is kind of wonky. It's kind of not straight. So if I line it up here, then that's where my stitch line's going to go. If it was straight, my stitch line would go way over here. But let's try to line up these two. So this one here and this one. Well, those line up pretty well. I mean, so I'm going to keep going down the row. And I'm going to see if it's just that one. That one's crooked. Okay. Well, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I think I'm going to stay here, and I don't know, my line of stitching might just be wonky. How would that look? Because a lot of these are straight through here, but this one's off. So I think maybe that just comes with the territory of, you know, buying pre-made, you know, kind of patchwork like this. Is that you kind of have to go with the flow on their sewing. Okay, well, I'm going to try it. I could stitch across here and stop, and then stitch across here and stop, and so on and so on. That might be a little annoying. At least to me it would be. Tell me if you feel the same way, because I like to get in a rhythm, and I just like to keep going instead of like stopping and stopping and stopping. So, I'm not sure, and I wonder what that would look like on the back if I did that. if I stopped and then started. I'm not sure. I mean, not that I need a perfect pattern on the back, but I like for it to look nice on the back. Well, I think I'm just going to do it because I'm not going to know how it's going to look if I don't try it. So I guess I'm going to start here. Now these line up better across here, I can tell. So maybe it's just this one row. So I'm going to do maybe till I run out of thread, because I don't really want to tie it off. I can pull it out easily if I don't like it. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll start over here and I'll just try to make this line here. It will be crooked. Maybe I can go a little bit on top of this seam here, and that might help a little bit. But I'm going to stitch it, and then I'm going to look at the back and I'm going to look at the front and see how I like it. If I don't like it, I'll take it out and I'll probably just do here, stop, go here, stop, and so on. So, okay, well, let's get started. We're not going to know if we don't try it. So I got my thread ready here, and let me get that going. Okay. So I got my thread already here, and I am waxing it. I think I mentioned that already. Sometimes I forget because I don't film these things simultaneously. So if I sound like a broken record, I'm terribly sorry. But I redid my wax. So I had just an old, like half of an old candle. It was a beeswax candle that I got from our, we have a little local honey farm. And I got it from there. And it had a lot of threads in it and stuff from this thread right here. Or not threads, but lint. Lint had came off of this thread, and it was on my wax. Oh, about to lose that. It was on my wax, and I remelted it into a little mold that I had. And look how you can see the orange in the wax. Isn't that funny? But now I have a new little piece of wax because my other piece was just kind of it was just kind of coming apart because I had used it so many times. So now I feel like I have a new little thing of wax here with some really pretty fall coloring in it. Isn't that funny? It's also even in a crisscross where my threads went across it. That's so funny. Anyway, just wanted to share that. I got two little cats up here as my helpers, I guess. They always, cats are so funny. They just like to be wherever you are. They're like, what are you doing? I want to be involved. So I have two of them up here. So I don't know how this is going to go. You can see the tail here. The black cat, his name is Shadow. And my daughter named him. He is a younger cat, and he is quite rambunctious sometimes. Now, my tortoiseshell cat, she's with me everywhere, all the time. You've seen her a lot in my videos. Let me get my head out of the way. Okay. Can y'all stay put? Can y'all be still? So that I can start stitching. I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully, so y'all can see better what I'm doing here. Okay, here we go. We're ready now. This is quite thick here with this particular part, so I'm just going to take it one stitch at a time. Especially, I find it easier to just do one stitch also at a time until I get a little less thread. My first few stitches I like to do just one at a time, so that my thread doesn't get too tangled up. So even though I waxed it, it's still, there we go. It's very pretty against this denim. These colors are. I'm really loving this thread. I want to order myself some new needles. That's my next treat to myself, and my birthday's coming up next week, so I think I'm going to treat myself to some tulip needles. I don't have any of their needles. I want to try the embroidery needles because it says that they are for, this is a 12 weight thread, which is what I'm really liking to use to quilt my stuff and to slow stitch. Either that or I use embroidery thread, so I think those needles would be good for me. I found them on Amazon. I think you get 8 needles, 2 of each size, I think starting at size 8 or size 9, I can't remember. But I'm gonna order that soon here. I keep forgetting to do it. So maybe after I finish this video, I will go and do that. And then I can hopefully have a better needle. Because this needle I'm using, you know, it's a quilting needle. The package said it's for quilting. And when I Googled what weight of thread is best for quilting, it said 12 weight thread. But this eye on this needle is narrow, and I understand it's narrow so that, I'll try to bring it in close, so that you can go easily through your layers of thread. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's so small. It's very hard to thread this 12 weight thread into the eye. So, and it bends super easily. Which, I don't know, maybe you want it to bend. Maybe you want it to be flexible. Okay. So, Azrael, you're going to have to move, honey. I love you. Can you just sit right here? Can you sit there? Okay. Stay there. Just stay there. Relax. Okay, I'm going to kind of judge an angle here as I go and just try my best. Oh, that's good. I kind of hope this thread will blend in to this brown on this plaid, and maybe it won't be. I'm making really big stitches too. I don't know why I'm making such big stitches. Okay. Let's see. Okay, these are kind of blending in, so that's good. They really showed up there, but here they're blending in. I'm okay with that since, you know, I have to go with this weird angle here. So maybe it won't look too bad after all. The whole point of me buying this thread is so that it would show up, but in this case, I kind of want it not to. So I think I got lucky there. Okay, actually, I don't think that looks bad at all. Okay, so I was worried about that, and see, sometimes you just have to do it and just not be afraid to do it and then see how it goes. So I'm just going to keep stitching here, and I will come back and show you after I have some more progress made. And we'll see what it looks like then. Okay, now I've made it to the end of my thread over here, just about. And I wanted to say that I don't hate it. I think that this, you know, this traveling at an angle here, every once in a while it's gonna be a little bit wonky, but you know, that's just the nature of this fabric, and I think it's gonna be okay. So let's look at the back. And let me get my arm out of the way. I hope you can see this, but it is traveling a little bit here. I can see it, but you know what? I think it's kind of cute. The thread's just meandering along. I think it's okay. I'm not gonna be too upset about it not being like perfectly straight. I'm sure that these lines coming this way are not perfectly straight either. I can even see that right here is a little jog. So it is what it is. I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to be happy with it because I think it'll look cute anyway. And so with that said, I'm just going to continue working on this project along with my other projects I have going on at the moment. And I mentioned in my, I think in my Kawandi video, which was the first fall project video I did, I mentioned that at the end, when I finished all these things, that I would put it together in one video where I'll show all of them at the same time. And so stay tuned for that, because that will be coming up as soon as I finish my fall projects here. So I thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to. I'm so happy seeing all the new subscribers. It just warms my heart to know that I'm creating a community of people who like to do the same things that I like to do. And so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.